Welcome back to Askewed Reviews, and we are continuing the Fast and Furious franchise as around this time of year, it's all about family. So we're going to be doing the 2021 film F9 The Fast Saga. Here's your trivia question for today. What country does Mr. Nobody's plane crash land in? The answer will be at the end of this episode. So our film starts off in 1989, where we get to see Jack Toretto, the original patriarch of the Toretto family, as a race car driver. We also get to see a young Dominic Toretto as part of his pit crew. Now, unfortunately, we do bear witness to two horrible events in Dominic's life. One, when Jack Toretto died in a car crash, and two, when Dominic nearly beat to death the race car driver that essentially caused that accident. A couple of secrets also get revealed to us as well. Like, for instance, Dom actually has a brother named Jacob, and he may actually have been the one that truly caused the accident. So, after some jail time, Dom ends up confronting his brother Jacob, and this causes Jacob to run away and not be seen from again. We then jump ahead about 30 years, where we catch up to our current timeline, which takes place about 2 years after the events of the Fate of the Furious. We pick up with Dom, Letty, and little Brian as they live their lives on a secluded farm. Unfortunately, that idyllic lifestyle won't last for long, as the team must be brought back together. Our team is notified that Mr. Nobody's plane was taken down, and aboard that plane was a captured Cypher and apparently something else. So, of course, our team races off to go find Mr. Nobody, Cypher, and whatever this other item could be. Now, in what comes as I'm sure as a complete surprise to everyone, they are met with some resistance as a group led by Jacob Toretto is stopping them from getting what they want. So Jacob not only manages to capture Cypher, but also manages to get a hold of the pieces of an item called Project Ares, which has the ability to hack any weapon system. So will our crew, along with some old and new faces, be able to stop Jacob? And does anyone truly win, though, when it's brother versus brother? So this time around, Justin Lin is back in the director's seat, as he did the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth Fast and Furious films. The ninth film actually released at the 20-year anniversary of the first Fast and Furious film. This movie was filmed in Thailand, London, Georgia, Scotland, and California. So this film was John Cena's first appearance in the Fast and Furious series, and he actually did a pretty good job as Jacob Toretto. This is also the first reappearance of Sung Kang's character of Han since Fast and Furious 6, and that's primarily due to the massive online campaign called #Justice for Han. Also making a reappearance in this film was Jordana Brewster's Mia, who hasn't been seen since Furious 7. Making reappearances from Tokyo Drift, you have both Lucas Black and Shad Moss, aka Bow Wow, reprising their characters of Sean Boswell and Twinkie. Don Omar also comes back to play Santos, although without his partner in crime, Leo. And one more reappearance, we have Shea Wingham as his character of Stasiak. There's also quite a few new faces to the series as well. For instance, Michael Rooker as Buddy, Thu Ersted Rasmussen as Otto, Anna Sawai as Elle, and there's quite a few cameos in this film as well, including Cardi B, UFC champion Francis Ngannou, rapper Ozuna, JD Pardo as Jack Toretto, Jim Perrick as Kenny Linder. Even Bad Bunny apparently has a cameo, although it's very hard to notice as he just appears during the street race near the beginning of the film. And of course, there's also the cameo by Jason Statham, which brings him from Hobbs and Shaw up to the events of Fast X. Now, of course, one actor that did not come back for this film was Dwayne Johnson, as he chose not to due to his issues that he had with Vin Diesel during the filming of The Fate of the Furious. Now, speaking of the actors appearing in this film, we also can't forget to talk about Vinnie Bennett and Finn Cole, who played the young versions of Dom and Jacob. And honestly, they did a fantastic job, in my opinion, especially Vinnie Bennett. I definitely felt like that was a younger Vin Diesel. Here's something interesting for you. In Fast 5, it's revealed that Han's last name is Solo. But Justin Lin actually revealed that Solo is just an alias. Han's real last name is Lu, which is interesting because that is the full name of Sung Kang's character from the movie Better Luck Tomorrow, which Lin has at least stated is a prequel to the Fast and Furious series. Did you happen to know that Nathalie Emmanuel, who plays Ramsey, does not actually have a driver's license? Did you happen to notice in the flashback scene, when Dom confronts Jacob, you can also see younger versions of Jesse, Vince, Letty, and Mia? No younger Leon, apparently, the forgotten member of the original squad. The 1970 Dodge Charger 500 that appears in the barn near the beginning of the film is the same one that keeps appearing and getting destroyed in the first, fourth, fifth, and seventh Fast and Furious films. This part is more than likely pretty obvious, but in case you didn't catch it, the Nissan Skyline that pulls up at the end during the barbecue scene is supposed to be Brian. It was actually the same vehicle that Brian had in Fast and Furious. Also, that same vehicle was owned by Paul Walker. Tyrese Gibson once joked in an interview that the only place that the Fast and Furious franchise hadn't been was space. This is actually why Justin Lin decided to add that scene. Red Digital Cinema actually paid for some pretty heavy product placement of their Hydrogen One smartphone throughout the film. Now, poor sales actually caused the company to discontinue in November of 2019. Due to being pushed back by the pandemic, this film did not release until 2021. So, this highly advertised phone that appears in this film did not exist as of the release of the movie. Now it's time for the family counter. The word family is used 7 times in this film. Buddy says it once, Queenie says it twice, Otto says it once, Elle says it once, Jack Toretto says it once, and young Dom says it once. So when it comes to the film F9 The Fast Saga, I like this movie. It's not one of my favorites in the series, but it's still really good. Now, some of the reasons why it just wasn't good enough for me, though, is mainly due to the fact that there was a lot of things that were kind of jam-packed in here. Also, some things that were just almost a little too convenient. Like, oh my goodness, Dom has a long lost brother. Oh my god, Han's still alive. Hey, guess what, guys? We can go to space. I don't know. There were certain things that I enjoyed and certain things I didn't, so I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. Now, as for the trivia question from the beginning of this episode, what country does Mr. Nobody's plane crash land in? So, the country that the plane crashes in and the team has to go to is actually a fictional country called Monte Quinto, which supposedly exists in Central America in the world of Fast and Furious. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Askewed Reviews, and if there's a movie you'd like to see get a review, just mention it in the comments.